Welcome to Intense Energy Healing. My name is Christopher.k.kokoll, and today I am joined by the wise, the kind, the energetically powerful, energetically transformational Hania Zia. Now, today we are going to do a deep dive energy healing and energy healing, energy clearing on the topic of when innocence is met by violence and then manipulated. So this is a really deep, deep topic, as if innocence being met by violence is not bad enough. There's then a part where, unfortunately, the person who has been abused internalizes projections or gaslighting from the abuser as themselves, the innocent one being guilty, being at fault, being wrong, being to blame. So this energy healing is specifically going to focus a lot on that part of confusion. Hanya, did you have anything you would like to add?
Yes, absolutely. I think it would be wise to work with the nervous system and the brain and really see the parts of us as children that at the time had not developmentally developed boundaries and understanding between the separation of self and other. And so we identified with the adults around us and with the people around us as if they were ourselves. And this can create a lot of confusion when there is abuse, when there is violence in our systems, when the adults that we trusted perpetrated violence on ourselves, and we identify with them at a really developmental level within our brain. And so we will work with really seeing those parts of us in our nervous system and helping them to free and mature in their development so they can come back and integrate into wholeness.
So what's coming through for you is really a clearing around enmeshment. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. Honey and I will link the timestamp below. So we'll intend that the energy stays active on this healing so you can come back and redo it and redo it. And if this is a deep topic, those confusions are such a difficult thing to understand. It's such a difficult thing, even more so to remove from yourself energetically. So you can redo this. We're also going to offer class Saturday, March 7th on this same topic. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Time on when innocence is met by violence and then manipulated. So multiple opportunities. It's syncing up with what's happening in the collective right now and on smaller scales from, intentional verbal cruelty to the most unspeakable things. It's bubbling up so that can affect our individual process. So it's our hope that this practice uh, will bring transformation to those confused parts and restore more of our true self that knows we'll just embody more of that innocence,
Yes.
embody more of that innate purity, not see that distortion that's been implanted within it as a guilty perpetrator. Honey, would you like to begin the energy healing or
Sure. Yes, we
okay,
can both start.
cool, cool.
We can call in our guides, our angels, the masters, and ask them to be with us here now, and to place a spiritual fire within the circle between the two of us that will help heal and burn up these dynamics, confused dynamics within us and within the collective. We can start by really bringing clear attention to our body, to our mind, to our nervous system, to the emotions that come up with this topic. The emotions that come up in remembering violence, focus on the nervous system and the brain and see what sensations you feel. In relationship to those emotions. And let's go deeper and track the belief systems behind those emotions. The shame, the blame, the parts of us that feel inadequate, that believe that we deserved the violence and the abuse. To go even into a deeper layer in our nervous system. And see the parts of you that identify with the person that inflicted the violence. And the way our brains and nervous systems identify with their shame and their guilt and their feelings of undeservingness. And we release that now. We release that now and bring in the templates and codes of pure divine innocence to replace the parts of us that have identified with the abuse and the abuser. And we can bring consciousness and attention to that part of us learning. Separation between self and other as an essential development in our nervous system. We can now seal parts of the nervous system that have previously allowed these energies in. And ask that they be placed permanently Chris, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. So inhaling your awareness into your energetic spine, vertical column from tailbone to crown, asking for your truth. This is a focal point of our true self, asking for that to strengthen in its attribute of clarity and truth and seeing through where innocence was met by violence and then told it was the guilty party. The revisiting of these traumas, which if we are adept at healing, has been done, maybe new traumas will come up. But as it is revisited, as those memories arise, as those pockets of stored subtle energy arise, see if you can go to that place of confusion where the projection was received. I hurt you, I was cruel to you, I intentionally was abusive. And where that occurred, and then the fault was placed with it, yourself who received the abuse. So intentionally going to that confused place that receives the projection of wrongdoing, when in truth there was innocence. And this can happen on mass scales. This can happen just interpersonally, but really asking to see clearly what is cruelty, what is innocence. And there can be a resistance, there can be a nausea, or just allowing your process, inviting the presence of Goddess Kali and Archangel Michael. Feeling Kali's sword represents the clarity of focus to go to these places, the strength to hold your awareness in these places, and the fortitude to see the truth, to see the innocence. Feeling her sword strike representing all of that. Seeing Archangel Michael's sword representing the returning of guilty projections, guilty manipulation, removing them from your energy system, returning them to their source, and inviting the fire of transformation to run as well as light through your energy system. There's going to be places of confusion. Oh, in a confused way, we'll be getting up to speed, saying, I am not guilty. And they're integrating that. We're just going to allow that process of integration. And if we have all, none of us are perfect. If we have made small errors, to no degree, as some of our unconsciousness, is that a lifetime of damnation, a lifetime jail sentence of wrongdoing, a lifetime of perpetratorship. We have all made these small errors, but it's really, really held internally weaponized against ourselves that you're to a far, far, far out of proportion degree that we are badder than we believe we are badder than in truth is. So just kind of allowing that to unfold. That was never the reality. And this is so important for those of us with galactic connections, connections to the angelic realms, connections to divine beings, those of us with whose motives, whose heart is pure, who is innocent, who just wants to be that instrument of kindness. It's so critically important for those individuals, I would say, most so, to be able to more so perceive that truth of who they are. So going a little deeper, really, really, really focusing. I know it's uncomfortable. I want to break through these barriers. Um, we're at an eclipse time, bringing things out of the shadow. So you might feel energetic nausea and just kind of allow this process. And if you can, just calling on the most mature parts of ourselves that can allow a transformation so deep, Goddess Kali is involved. Goddess Kali is breaking through the bonds and structures that have held us for so, so long in untruth. So just kind of calling on your fortitude to endure the memories, trauma, and the precision to see innocence clearly and to burn away any unconscious places where we have accepted guilt and blame for trauma perpetrated upon us. Just going to let this run for about 30 seconds, focusing in your spine. Another thing this causes is a pervasive feeling of unsafety. Because if I've been wronged and not only did justice not come, but I took fault for it, there's a feeling that that attack can come without justice, and then I'll be blamed for it again at any time. So a pervasive feeling of unsafety, navigating the world, human relationships, or scenarios which mimic where this abuse and false guilty verdict was rendered. So that feeling of unsafety is going to feel like fear. It's definitely going to heighten the nervous system, as Hania spoke to. Feeling that, shaking it out, breathing through it. You might feel like little pops where the energy is releasing. So if you feel this fear, dial into it being the fear of that abuse coming, then being blamed for the abuse and justice never coming. That whole thing, it's so deep. Letting that unravel, letting that dissolve more. And Goddess Kali's with us again, asking her to strengthen that pillar along our spine. Be able to stand in this level of fear and this level of transformation with maturity and endure this level of transformation, this level of understanding, this level of refinement within ourselves. Hania, is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, also tracking the anxious parts of us in our nervous system, the anxiety, the fight and flight, but also the freeze, the deep freeze response in the brain that goes into freeze mode in the face of violence. Just really seeing that in yourself and shaking it out. Breathe through it, shake your body through it to come out of that freeze response. And one can see in their own nervous system the way it still shows up in daily life, that freeze response in the face of anything that reminds us of any trauma, any violence, even just discomfort in our daily life can trigger us back into that initial freeze response when we were in the violence. And so shaking that out, breathing through it, bring the healing into it, breaking the pattern. Rewiring the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system and the adrenal glands to come out of freeze response and to be able to take action when needed in our lives and no longer be living through the trauma in our everyday life. So shifting out of this safety strategy of freeze. Bringing energy and vigor into it to break out of that stagnant energy that freezes. That freezes in the face of fear. We can ask Archangel Michael and Goddess Kali to also help break up that fear and freeze response in the nervous system.
Mm.
Just feel that change through your autonomic nervous system, your brainstem, your spine. Just imagine bringing your body into a space of feeling safe in the world again, feeling safe in your body again. Again, breathing through all of the energy that's flooding through the body and brain now, grounding it into your system. Chris, anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, oof. But kind of absorbing that more calm nervous system, that focused presence into that deepening in that freeze response or fawning response, the place that's Stockholm syndromed or just thinks, I didn't do anything wrong, but if I just admit fault, admit guilt for the abuse I received, maybe that will keep me safe. Maybe that will maintain a state of harmony. Ooh. So it said Goddess Kali um, never shies away from a battle. But it's not just meathead, macho violence. She kind of plants her feet, plants her sword for truth. So that place that when gaslighted, when projected, when one is attacked and then gaslighted, projected that they're at fault. When in truth, their innocence was attacked. A place inside that just says, okay, if I just agree with this untrue narrative, maybe that will allow for better circumstances. Or just feeling, God's call is also part of our innermost divinity, part of our innermost true self. So feeling in this safe, regulated nervous system, also feel her taking a stand in the place that would just say, okay, yeah, I'm not really guilty, but I'll just accept the untruth others are saying about this situation. Really feel your awareness is now penetrating into that area, into that level of your being. And kind of feel the divine presence of Kali, feel her infusing. Oh, it's a scary thing to take a stand. It's a scary thing to speak up. It's a scary thing to push back against these dynamics, but feel her power infusing through your being, coupled with the calmness and regulation of the codes that Hania had previously brought in. So there's a peace, there's a more regulated nervous system, and then this part is still flickering of like, oh, shit, if I just agree, maybe this all can be over, maybe whatever. Like that part now wants to take a stand from this calm, regulated place that can also see the truth of the situation. And asking for Archangel Michael's intervention upon one's karma, one's energy system. And also shielding and intervention in the outer world to truly help one walk this path that, our true self is trying to break free into walking it without being encumbered so much by fear. You might feel that fiery sword of Archangel Michael running through your energy system, running through the center of your chest, feeling the protection of that being, rewiring the parts of us that would just succumb, submit to abuse and a false narrative that we're at fault for it. So stay right there. Your awareness is right there. Keep being present at that level. It's creating a greater embodiment to consciously know the truth, embody the truth, speak the truth, act as the truth. This whole mechanism is like less distorted, is coming through, coming through. Just going to keep allowing that to run. Hania G, do you have anything to add?
Nothing more to add.
Okay. So let's just there's the last clearing on the places that would say no justice, right? Justice never comes. Those wounds, those imprints will keep a cycle going, will keep a karmic loop going, keep a trauma loop going. No justice. So, last piece, breaking that loop. If there isn't any justice, how much more difficult is it going to make it to stand up to abuse or injustice or attack on any level? And if you just feel Kali's sword chopping, 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 no justice at this point lives as an imprint in the energy system. The best chance we have of reversing outer circumstances is to reverse this or clear this dynamic from within us and allow for this birthing of a more empowered true self. So you might feel Kali's rage or fury bubbling up, or truth, then to delete the imprints of no justice. And you might feel other lifetimes where there was no justice. The whole thing starting to diminish, starting to soften. And potentially where there was a lot of you know, maybe the friction of our energies and other energies at odds surrounding us, so kind of bridging into our nervous system, our energy system. Feels like there's a lot of that is cleared and one's space around one's being is more at peace. So grounding into this peace, and if you wish to continue deepening into this dynamic, continue to be able to perceive and energetically embody the truth here, there is class Saturday, March 7th, 3 p.m. East Coast time, 12 p.m. Pacific time. I hope to see you there. It is $5, 55 cents minimum. Pay what you want, just a minimum. Okay, bye for now.